Greetings, dear listeners. Hope you're all doing well. We're out here tonight to welcome the arrival of the full Beaver Moon. The full Beaver Moon of December. Now, I know it's still November, but I like saying December because December makes me think of Christmas, and Christmas makes me think of ghost stories and werewolf stories. I got the following story from a guy I used to work with. Now, he grew up on a farm about 50 miles away from here. And according to him, back during the 1970s, there was a lot more snow out there than there is today. And one Christmas Eve, there was so much snow that their old man couldn't get their pickup truck out of the yard. And they were supposed to go to Grandma's house. So how did they get there? No problem. The old man hitched up a horse to this old sleigh they had, and they set off on a one-horse open sleigh. You know, oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. And my friend and his brother were at the back of the sleigh. And it was a beautiful night. There was a big full moon casting its silvery rays over the winter wonderland, a landscape. But after a while, they began to realize that something was following the sleigh. Something dark and low to the ground, vaguely canine in shape. And they thought, is it a coyote? Is it a fox? And then they began to think, well, maybe it's somebody's dog that's following us. But as it got closer, they could see it had kind of grayish fur. And then they began thinking, could it be a wolf? Could it actually be a timber wolf? We haven't had wolves around this part of the world for 100 years, but they began to wonder. But then they noticed the wolf was actually running on its hind legs. Running on its hind legs like a person. And it didn't have a tail. And then they realized it was a werewolf. And as it got closer, because it was really gaining on them, they could see the snout and the mouth full of sharp teeth and the pointed ears and the red eyes. So they told their old man, who, in the Christmas spirit, told them, shut the hell up while I'm driving. Your self-esteem wasn't high on parental priorities back then. So the boys knew that they were going to have to defend the sleigh from the werewolf. So they looked around for a weapon. And on the floorboards, they found an old horseshoe. So my friend's bro takes a horseshoe and pegs it at the werewolf. And it hits him right in the head. A horseshoe, metal horseshoe, hitting you right in the head. But did the werewolf stop? No. As a matter of fact, he seemed to get angry and speed it up. So my friend starts looking around for some other kind of weapon, and their old man had stashed some beers at the back of the sleigh, so he grabs one of the beer bottles. It was a Molson Bohemian. Molson Bohemian, a beer described as best for external use only. Alcohol for external use only. And he throws the bottle at the werewolf. Now, back in the 70s, beer in Canada came in these brown stubby bottles, 12-ounce stubby bottles, and they were as heavy as hell. So if one hit you in the head, you'd feel it. And this bottle of Bo whacks the werewolf right in the snout. And it sits down on the trail, clutching the bottle to its hairy chest. And that was the last they saw of the werewolf. I guess you could say, if they weren't saved by the bell, they were saved by the bow. Of course, their old man was totally pissed off when he found one of his beers missing, and he blamed them, saying they drank it. But when they returned from Grandma's house on December 26th, Boxing Day, that's Boxing Day for you non-pugilists out there, when they came back on Boxing Day, December 26th, they found lying on the trail the empty, stubby bottle. Completely empty, but with the bottle cap still on it. Well, how can it be empty with the bottle cap still on it? How is that possible? Well, something punched a hole through the bottle cap. Something like as sharp as a roofie nail. Something like a fang or an incisor or a claw punched a hole through the bottle cap, and then whatever it was sucked all the beer out of the bottle. Well, my buddy said that he kept that bottle around as a souvenir of his encounter with the werewolf, as well as proof for a number of years, but it has since disappeared into the midst of time. So, dear listeners, does this story seem reasonable to you? I was going to dismiss it as a tall tale, but the other day I happened to be paging through the Book of Werewolves by the Reverend Sabine Baring-Gould. Baring-Gould. In the chapter on the werewolf in the Middle Ages, the author quotes Olaus Magnus. Olaus Magnus, isn't that a great name? If I ever have to change my name, I'm going to change it to Olaus Magnus. And then my wife would be, I guess, Mrs. Magnus, or actually Dr. Magnus. And if people asked her, are you related by any chance to the famous Olaus Magnus? She could say, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I sleep. Maybe I'll stop that. I'll stop this line of patter right now. I think that might be a good idea for my domestic peace. But Olaus Magnus says that in Prussia, Lithuania, and Livonia, during the Christmas season, gangs of werewolves would team up to raid isolated houses and farms. They would break in and eat all the people and then descend to the basement where they would drink all the mead and all the beer. And how did Magnus know these were werewolves and not real wolves? Well, they must have been werewolves because they stacked all the empties neatly when they left. So, dear listeners, since mead's in short supply, you might want to keep some beer around during the Christmas holidays, partially as a defense against werewolves. And if you live in Saskatchewan and Ontario, you can actually buy Molson Bohemian. And no, I'm not getting paid for saying that. I'm just mentioning it. So, dear listeners, let me know in the comments below if you think this is a true story or a tall tale, truth or fiction, truth or trash. And stay safe, stay subscribed, ring the bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and feel free to share this video or any of my videos with anyone you please. If this is your first visit to my channel, my name is Warren and I write, it's not Olaus Magnus yet, my name is Warren and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring cryptids such as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. Please help me to get to 2,021 subscribers by 2021. I'm now going to step out of the way so the lovely and talented camera crew, Dr. Magnus herself, can give you a panorama shot of tonight's beautiful full Beaver Moon. And I'll just step out of the way, but till midnight, cheers.